Hi guys! Welcome to Eye on the Storm. Thank you for joining us today. We are so glad to be with you, and we are joined, of course, by Sheth from Cloud9. If you don't know what the heck you're watching, we'll take just a second to explain what channel you're on and what show this is. This is, as I said, Eye on the Storm. It is a show about Heroes of the Storm, the Blizzard game that is currently in closed beta. We've been here since the alpha, and this show has been my co-host Gillyweed and my attempt to really learn this game, get involved with the community, hopefully eventually become able to cast it. And then, of course, follow not only the strategy of the game, but the people that are really moving and shaking it and how that community is growing.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, every week we bring on a guest to study a topic. This week is going to be shot calling. We will also do a character spotlight, and we'll be talking about the illustrious Malfurion today. And then we'll do a play session as well as a community spotlight for you guys to watch too. Don't forget that at any point, if you guys have questions for our guests or for us about this game that we love so much, you can tweet us at #StormShow. We are giving away beta keys for the North American region tonight, so don't put your questions in chat because we won't see them because everyone will be yelling about beta keys. So that will be happening throughout the show. You have to be active in chat from the last 10 minutes for you to be considered for those giveaways, and the rules will be posted every once in a while by the wonderful Nightbot as well. And of course, we're on Misscliks. Anna, do you want to tell us about our wonderful channel?
Sure, just really quick. As you can see, this is a channel that has lots of different content on it, but it's overall devoted to uplifting and providing support for female role models in geek and gaming culture. So always thank you to Misscliks for hosting us here, and thank you to those of you who follow and support them in support of their mission. But all of that said, again, welcome, Sheth. Thank you for coming here. If people don't know you, can you tell a little bit about yourself, where you come from in esports, and what you're up to now?
Sure. So I've been in esports for a pretty long time. Started playing Brood War professionally back way many years ago. Then went into play StarCraft 2, played for a bunch of smaller teams like Roots back then when it was smaller, and ended up playing with Liquid for a very long time. Did a lot of cool things there with FC2, and took a bit of a break. Had some sort of wrist issues, but it's been getting much better, and now I'm back playing Heroes of the Storm. Previously on CM Vortex up to a few days ago. And now I'm still with C9, but the future is in flux. We'll see.
I meant to ask, how many years does that mean you've been what you would call a pro gamer, or at least, like, what passed for a pro gamer back in Brood War days,
Well, I think what passed in Brood War days was if you had a salary.
Right.
And then, like, salary was, like, above $100 or something.
Right.
And I had that with Light, but I don't remember what part of Light. It was, like, near the end of it. When was the C2 beta? It was like 2009?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Alright, so like 2 years before that was probably when I was doing well in Brood War, maybe 3 years even.
Mm-hmm.
So, like 9 years now?
Man, so for an esports career, that's a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've definitely been around.
And another thing, we'll get into our topic, but in terms of talking to you, I was really interested to hear, as a former Brood War pro, as a former StarCraft 2 pro, that's a very specifically one-on-one, only you kind of game, and then moving into a team game like Heroes of the Storm. I was interested in kind of your perspective on how that fit you as a StarCraft pro gamer now being in this team sport.
Okay. Well, I've been kind of rotating through a lot of teams, and I think there's a lot for me to learn. To play MOBAs, I played a little bit of League, but I didn't play too much League. And, RTS, that was the, genre I'd been a pro gamer in for those 9 years. So now with switching to MOBAs and switching to Heroes in particular, finding the right people to play with. And, I'm not like 19 anymore. I'm an older guy. So, I'm mostly playing with 19-year-olds or around that age. And I don't know, it's very different, but I do definitely enjoy it quite a bit. It's a lot of fun.
Cool.
Anna, I have to tell you that the overlays are wrong.
Oh my gosh. They sure are. You're not C9 I Dream. All right, well, I will work on that.
You never know.
I will attend to that while you talk. Let's see if I can fix that on the fly.
All right, cool. Let's go to our first topic of discussion, which is ranked play. This is our community discussion segment of our show, and we've talked about ranked play before, but there's still a lot of talk going on about it, especially on Reddit. So if you guys are interested in putting in your 2 cents as far as what you think on ranked play, you can always tweet us with the hashtag Storm Show. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it. But there are some really cool threads like tips for ranked play or what ranked mode needs and that type of thing. So you can always check those out on Reddit as well. I will link in the big thread that has all of those discussions in there. But I really wanted to get your thoughts, Sheth, on what you've thought so far in ranked mode, maybe things you like and things that you think could be improved as well.
All right, sure. I guess one of the basic things I would say would be a basic tip is if you're first pick in ranked play and your team is first pick, just take Stitches. Super easy right off the bat. Just so learn how to play Stitches if you don't know how to, and you can just carry entire games and your team will be happy. Your team won't be like, why didn't you first pick Stitches? You're bad. You know, now you're at the next level where you figured out, all right, I picked Stitches and we win.
That's actually some advice we got last week from Iacona as well. So that's good to know that everyone is in agreement. Just go Stitches all the time.
Yeah.
It's the first strategy. It's good strategy. Stick with it. It works.
I'm wasting my time. I've been grinding Arthas, but apparently that's like old news, and I gotta do Stitches.
For now. They may eventually add like a ban, and then don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You'll never have to play Stitches again.
And then those Arthas skills, handy.
Right back to it.
Exactly.
So the things in that one thread where it talks about things that ranked play needs, I think they talk a lot about where you need a solo queue league as opposed to a league where you can have a 1 through 5 number.
Right.
Just having something where you can figure out your individual skill is pretty important.
It's just so much different to play where no one's talking to each other versus even where like 2 people are. It's exponentially different. Sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then if you play like a top team and you're one person, and you know, they kind of, I thought, implied that that wouldn't happen too much, but it happens quite a bit. You're just like, I'm just going to have a relaxing hero queue game. And then you play Tempo Storm and you're with 4 random people you've never seen, and you're like, this is fun.
That happened to us the other day, and it was Cloud9 Maelstrom, I think, but they were playing with, I think, it was like 4 members, but with like a friend or something like that, or maybe a sub. But I think we were still queuing as 5, but it was still scary. And also like at 4 in the morning, so we were all definitely asleep.
I would add that to my tips for ranked play. Nothing good ever happens after 2 a.m. Just give up.
Yeah, that's good. You're going to lose a lot. You're going to go on tilt.
Yeah, and it's just going to go downhill from there.
What else? Do you have other thoughts about things that it might need as well?
Oh, well, ranked play right now, you go throughout like 25, or pretty much all the ranks except for the last 3, and you win 200 points a win, and you lose like however many points per loss. It's very static. It's not like anyone could do it, right? If you can win 3 in a row and lose, or if you can lose 3 in a row and win 1 and you're still gaining points, it's kind of a weird ladder. So making it so it's actually difficult to get rank 1 would be kind of cool, or even just make it so at rank 1 you go into like this legendary mode where you get to kind of actually see a number that means something, more than just you grind it through ranks.
Yeah, kind of more like Hearthstone.
Yeah, exactly. They seem to kind of went the Hearthstone route, but just not quite all of it, which is kind of confusing. But
yeah, I kind of honestly, and I guess maybe this was silly, but I expected it to be a little more like StarCraft. Because I didn't expect to have to grind so many games to get ranked, you know. To start at like super bronze, if you will, was kind of like, oh man, this is going to take so much time and effort, and I'm already hating myself for solo queuing. So it's kind of like, I mean, I agreed with a lot of these kind of concerns, and a lot of the people that were saying on Reddit, you know, like, we probably just don't know what they have planned. There's probably a lot more depth here. They're probably still developing it, and we've heard that from the developers before. So I'm just kind of keeping my fingers crossed that that's the case, because I would really like to be able to jump in, play a match, kind of prove my skill, and then move from there. Like whether that's, you know, low, mid to a little bit higher, or whether I can jump in at the top like a pro player, or whether I do need to start at the bottom, something like that. The grinding for rank is a bit hard for me when you're already grinding for levels. You know what I mean?
So you want more of a StarCraft type thing. You play a few placement matches and then you're placed.
I guess it's just, I like having both, and I'm already, like, my big focus before we had ranked was to grind levels and to be, okay, all my heroes are at 5. Now I'm going to work toward all my heroes at 10, and I've got my level 40
Except
player
Murky.
level. Yeah, except Murky. Please make him free again, Blizzard, please. But yeah.
Free Murky week since August.
Yeah. But so, again, the point is, like, I have that already. I have the grinding rewards. I want, like, the skill rewards, too, if that makes sense.
That's said it perfectly.
All right. Well, I also think a lot of my issues have been draft mode induced. I would like more time with picks. I know that we want fast games, but 30 seconds makes it so hard to strategize with your teammates. Maybe not as much of a deal, I guess, when you're doing solo queue, but when I've been playing as 5s, it's like barely enough time to try to like determine something. So I would like more time for picks, and maybe they'll do that when they come out with the team league. And then I would love some swaps, the ability to swap.
Great. Yeah.
Because a lot of times we've gotten into this situation where I've ended up having to play something that a friend of mine that I'm with plays better, but we can't, and like I play comparable or better with the other hero, but yet we can't swap. That I know that is a feature in League. I don't know how, I'm assuming that they probably have it for Dota 2, and it might be something that they eventually want to put in maybe for like Hero League, but are concerned about doing that for Hero League because it kind of induces raging when someone doesn't want to swap with you. So maybe we'll get to see that someday. That'd be really cool.
For the sake of being contrary, I would say I would not want it to take longer, because my big concern is that the games, like one of my favorite things about Heroes is how short the games are, and anything that makes the games longer, especially now that even the games themselves, like gameplay is a little bit longer now than it used to be. I'm like, I want to be able to get in and out of a game and be sure that I can be somewhere in a half hour. You know what I mean? Yeah,
that's kind of why I was saying maybe just for the team league and keep maybe the shorter time limit for the Hero League. Because if you watch the pro games, they've got like, well, it depends on the tournament, but a lot longer generally to be able to make picks. And sometimes you need the extra time to say, okay, well, what if they get this? Are we going to be able to deal with this? You got to kind of go down the rabbit hole sometimes. And 30 seconds is not enough time for rabbit holes.
What do you think, Sheth? You're used to longer games from StarCraft. Are you really attached to the shorter games of Heroes, or what do you think?
Oh, I like the shorter games. I think it's just a friendlier game. And you know, I've played a lot of League where you could go like 60 minutes, and if you have someone who you really don't like, and you have to spend 60 minutes with them, it's really hard.
Yeah.
And with Heroes, you only have to spend like 15 minutes, easy peasy. You don't have to yell at them. You can be zen for 15 minutes. It's when like they've gotten to know you over this 30-minute conversation. They've found your weak spots. Like they just just kill you in League. It's like I can't. They don't have enough time in Heroes, so it's okay.
Absolutely.
I had a great game the other day where someone was raging at me, and so I started only responding with Brightwing quotes. It worked. I'd be like, "Thank you, friend." It worked pretty well.
That's awesome.
They still raged, but it made me happy, and so it was fun.
I raged the hardest I ever have, I think, the other night, because I took the time because I was really mad, but then I was like, you know what? I am a good member of this community. I am going to share and like be open and kind. And so I wrote out this message that was like, hey, just next time when we're picking our heroes and you say you're going to pick one, please don't yell surprise and switch at the last minute, because it really, makes it suck for us who are really trying to rank, and like, just so you know, no worries, let's have fun. And then they're like, Kerrigan, stop writing poetry and actually play the game. Blah. And I was blah. Yeah.
No.
Even that isn't as,
Was that the surprise Sergeant Hammer?
Yes, surprise Hammer.
I forgot about that.
Oh, they were queued up to choose Malfurion. We built a whole team around Malfurion. And then they, surprise Hammer! Anyways.
People.
Is there more to say about, ranked play or any of our impressions, or should we move on to our next community item of business? I think we got it all, yeah.
I'm good.
All right. So the next one is that one of the big teams that people have been hearing about and known about for quite a while is Glorious Gaming. It's disbanded. But all of its players seem to be finding homes, so that's some good news. Sheth, you had mentioned some players going to Cloud9 Vortex.
Mm-hmm. Yep. First off, ZPs went to EG, I think, and Glaurung went to Tempo Storm. And then more recently, if you're watching, or if you've watched Vortex play, they have the other three being Cawthon Luck, Syracuse, and Narak, with Bobby Hinkil and Rajar.
Awesome. And then everyone else is kind of rotated around as well, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
It's really
Well,
interesting to get used to so many frequent roster changes. I mean, obviously, beta and alpha are going to bring that about as the game's changing so much and people are kind of figuring out how teams work together and, what strengths add what to a team. But it's really strange to get used to. And I guess even other MOBAs like League or Dota, we see team shakeups usually like once a year. But do you think that's probably what this is going to turn out to be like, Sheth? Or what do you think we're going to see? Do you think we're going to see more team movement here in Heroes of the Storm?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Especially with a lot of new blood hopefully coming in soon. There hasn't been a lot of up-and-coming talent that's been tremendously amazing of late. I mean, there's been some who are really cool and really good, like K1. And a few other players, but if you look at EU where they have 60+ teams, it's a lot easier to find talent. Here we only have I think 10 even or something like that played in the last tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder, why do you think it is that the EU scene has been growing so much faster than the NA scene?
I heard a quote that I have no idea if it's true, so this could be made up, and I'm just gonna completely lie.
Grain of salt and all that.
But someone said that the guy who does hot logs said it takes him the same amount of time to do North America, Korea, just pretty much every other server he runs will parse quicker than the EU server, meaning that the EU server is just bigger than all the other ones put together. So that could be a part of it, just that they have way more players right now than NA.
Interesting. I wonder if that will continue to be the case as we grow into a full-grown community.
I don't know.
I suppose we shall see.
We shall. We shall.
All right, well, I think that's it for community stuff. Guys, if you're watching and you think that there are topics that you'd like to see us discuss with our guests, please do let us know. This is part of our show that's kind of growing as now we are starting to have a community that we can talk about on these levels, and there are lots of things going on. So let us know. Again, use that hashtag StormShow if you want to tell us anything. But let's move on to our discussion of kind of our topic for the day, which is shot calling.
Yes.
Sounds
Sorry,
good.
I just lost a tab, a very important tab. Okay, and it's back. All right, so I would like to open with the importance of shot calling in Heroes and sort of like how shot calling works. Can we do that sort of in a broad sense?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
So, I guess let's pretend that somebody's watching this show totally unfamiliar with what a shot caller is. A lot of times people assume the shot caller is the same person as the captain. A lot of times they assume it's just the person who's deciding what the team's going to do. How would you characterize or define a shot caller for somebody who doesn't know what it is?
It's the person who decides what everyone does.
Okay, cool.
And in Heroes of the Storm, why is that so important particularly?
Well, in every MOBAs where you have 5 people, it's very important to have someone who can tell everyone what to do, and everyone can do it instantly, and you can work together. It's just, if you have 5 different shot callers, it becomes rather difficult. Everyone can be on different pages. If you have one shot caller, everyone will do the same thing, and hopefully it will look a lot better than if one person's saying go forward and one's saying go backwards.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I guess what I'm getting at too is that and I keep comparing it to other MOBAs. Obviously, Heroes doesn't define itself as a MOBA; it defines itself as a hero brawler, and that's probably because there's more of a team fight element to it and less of kind of that laning element. So if I'm not listening to my shot caller in League of Legends, for example, maybe I can stay in my lane and I can still do some good for my team. But in Heroes of the Storm, do you think that the shot caller becomes more important for that reason?
Because there are so many more things that need to be called. Yeah, I definitely think so. There's a lot of objectives that you'll either take together, a lot of lane swaps. I mean, there's so much strategy that the leader kind of or the caller needs to know in the scenarios. And like you said in League, you can just stay bottom lane or top lane or mid lane, and for a lot of the game you just farm. I mean, not even too much of the game. It's probably very important in League too, but
Mm-hmm.
it is definitely very important here as well.
What are the types of things that a hero's shot caller you would hear them call, for example?
Watch your position. Watch your position. You're out of position.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going flank. Look for a flank. Come around from the side if you can. We're going on X character. Look at Nazebo. Look at Nazebo. Uh, and then like a future call. All right, we're doing well in this fight. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. And then if that guy's down, all right, back off, back off. Let's get the tributes. Oh, we got the tributes. Let's push mid lane or let's get boss. Like sometimes they'll ask a question, and then the team will be like, all right, let's do boss. Let's do boss. You do boss. Let's push with boss. Anyone need a back? No one says anything. You just keep going. And if you see them around, you're like, you just keep going on with whatever it is. Look at the wall. Let's get the wall. Get the wall back. Heal. Go there. Go there.
So it's pretty
One
much like
person go here.
constantly talking then?
Constantly talking. You need everyone kind of to at least talk about their cooldowns. So like if you're Uther and you just ulted, my ult's down or I'm ulting now. Or if you're looking to fight and something like a Bloodlust is down, you want to be like, oh, I don't have Bloodlust yet. Bloodlust in 10. Bloodlust in 10. And then the leader will kind of have an idea of like, all right, we're good. Let's hold off for 10. Hold off for 10. And you should always kind of be discussing what you're planning on doing, and then what you're doing afterwards once you've started to kind of go that way. But you want to kind of have an idea of what it is before.
What types of things then, if you're not shot calling, what types of things would you want to sort of report to them? You mentioned maybe a cooldown being down, like Bloodlust. Other things as well?
Oh yeah, like if you're a healer, you want to be like, if you've just used a Q, if you're Uther, for instance, you can be like Q down for 10. And if you use your W, be like all heals down for 10. If you use your protective shield, be like shield down, protective shield down. If you use cleanse, cleanse down. And then if you're a DPS, you very much want to watch for your ults. If you're full stead, I'm ulting this person, or if you have a plan like a stun and then an ult, you just call out that you're going to ult them, or you have your ult up and ready. When you're doing it, just call out ulting whoever. Make sure that it's very well known who your damage is on. And if you're low, you'd be like, I need a heal, I need a heal. If you don't need a heal, be like, I'm fine, I'm baiting, or something like that. And if you see someone out of position, you'd be like, hey, watch your position, come back, look out, careful.
I'm noticing that when you give examples, you say things twice. Is that, I mean, and I know that a lot of times that's just a habit from, like, being excited, but would you say that that's something that a lot of pro teams do for the sake of clarity, or is it just kind of a habit or just a personal preference?
It's probably more of a personal preference, but I don't know. I always liked it when someone would tell me things twice. It just made it easier.
Well, because I would think, I know that when I get in games, and even sometimes we don't have a designated shot caller, a lot of times it'll be multiple people saying something at once, or two people will be talking about their ults at the same time. So saying something twice might give more clarity where, like, I'm sure I heard the right thing or something like that. So I have never been in a game with a pro shot caller, but I would assume that would be something that would be helpful.
Yeah, if you don't have a super loud voice and you're not trying to speak over everyone, then that way you make sure people hear you for sure.
Does it ever get to the point where people are kind of shouting over each other?
Oh yeah, team fights. Like, look, void prison. Okay, yeah, I'm in the void prison. Let go now. No, like, and then the pulse laser completely misses, and then it goes down, and they just kill you. It's like but, yep.
Do you? So I believe you said that you personally don't usually take the shot caller role, right?
Yeah, no, that's not usually me. I've done some of it, but it's not like a tremendous amount.
And why do you prefer not to take on that role?
Well, our team just had a very good shot caller, and it's one of the things I've actually really never done is been like a professional shot caller for a MOBA. So I don't know if I'd be that great at it. It may be something I do in the future, but for now, I mean, I definitely talk strategy and things like that, but shot calling is very stressful, and if you have a good shot caller, you don't you just let things go, you don't try and be that guy who steals the spotlight or something.
Yeah. What do you think some good qualities maybe that a good shot caller would possess?
A loud, clear voice, and then just very good strategic knowledge of the game.
Okay.
Like, that seems to be the most important stuff to me.
Do you think that there's a specific role on the team that shot calling is best associated with. It always felt to me like if you're going to be the one engaging, that you would be the one calling the shots, but that's not necessarily the case, right?
It's not always the case. It
Okay.
does definitely help if you're like a
Hmm.
Kerrigan player or if you're a Zerto looking for a BP. It definitely can help you to be the shot caller or even a tank, if you're looking to judgment in. Uh,
Right.
it's important that they're on the same page as the shot caller if they're not the shot caller.
That makes a lot of sense. So
So,
I
but
guess
you, there are teams that have like all sorts of roles with shot callers in them.
Well, Glaurung's a good example of where he's kind of like their initiator, and he is the shot caller for Tempo Storm, and then for us we had Bobby Hinkhill, and he's our tank.
Okay.
EG has the tank, but they used to have a DPS be a shot caller for EG for a lot of their time.
Okay.
So it definitely does differ from team to team.
Okay, cool. Sorry, Anna.
Oh no, no problem. A lot of the people who are watching our show they love watching the pro scene, but a lot of what we're talking about is to help with us, playing in game when we actually go in. So, assuming that we are on teams that are structured that have a shot caller, and we may be in situations where we're either solo queuing or we're playing with people we don't know, or those kinds of things. What kind of tips do you have for coming in and either choosing a shot caller or negotiating a shot caller or contradicting a shot caller, or if I can't talk to the people I'm playing with in solo queue, trying to shot call using, indicators? What are some of your tips for just, casual gameplay and shot calling?
Well, you've said most of it. Just communicate with pings a lot, and then you'd be really surprised what just spending a second and typing out something like, let's do Golem, guys," or like, "Let's look at this wall," or just typing out what you think is a good strategy. You
Hmm.
don't necessarily have to be a shot caller, but just like typing out your thought process and what you want to do. If you can do that while you're like riding your horse somewhere, it doesn't hurt by any means to tell the rest of your team what your plan is if you can't voice.
So you would say that when you're playing casually, you kind of have to take on at least partially the role of shot caller for yourself. Would that be the case?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, especially just when it's solo queue, you have to do that sort of thing.
Because you can't count on someone else to do it. And yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I think the golden rule of solo queue is that there's going to be at least one person who's just doing their own thing, and that's the person that you have to follow.
That's a good point. Or that
Yeah.
you have to leave to die and hope you can win without them.
He's your
Yeah.
split pusher.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Split pushing Muradin. Had one of those this week. It's good stuff.
Um,
Um, okay, cool. I would like to know for those people who are maybe calling shots for their when they're playing with their friends, that type of thing. Are there sort of maybe tips that you would have for getting better at it?
well, I guess the basic thing would just be make mistakes. Don't be afraid to make crazy calls and figure out exactly
Hmm.
what you can and cannot do. Losing games isn't necessarily a bad thing unless it's like a tournament game, right? If you're practicing, you definitely want to, find that limit and figure out what your team can and cannot do.
Hmm.
And then just never take the boss unless you really can, because that's how so many teams lose.
Okay.
That's good advice. Very
That is
specific.
really
I like that.
good. I always do wonder what to do during that sort of dead zone time when there's the one I always think of is Curse Hollow when you're between tributes or maybe after Curse and all of the camps are taken. Um, what, as a shot caller, are you trying to do? Are you trying to like maybe push lanes or catch them out? All of the above? That's the worst time for me, I think, when I'm trying to make a decision.
Well, I guess one of the basic things you could do is just to look at the timers around the map. You can even put like vision hotkeys like F2, F3 and stuff on different camps and just figure out what the actual timer is for the next camp that may or may not come up, and then
Hmm.
just try and be ready over there. Wait near the next contention point, and look for either a pick around that, or if it's somewhere you can't get to safely, realize that they're gonna go to it, and when they go to it, maybe you can push a lane on the opposite side if you want to, or just things like that, where you need to figure out what the next objective is and plan for that specifically.
A lot
Okay,
of
cool.
being the shot caller, because I mean, the cool thing about Heroes is that there are so many opportunities to take advantages, right? It's either take a camp, take an objective, push a lane. You know, you as a shot caller, you can kind of look at the map and say what's not done that could be done, and then find the best option. But a lot of times there are, let's say, two options that seem like really good opportunities, and the best shot callers that I've ever played with are the ones that can say, these are both good options, but this one is going to give us X more experience, so let's go do that. Or this one is going to give us an advantage in a few minutes after such and such happens. Very, very technical, very mathematic understanding of the game. And that's something that I find is really, really hard for me to get a grasp of. Do you have any suggestions for people who really want to learn the game on that technical level where they can find those detailed differences between opportunities?
Well, I guess right now, just some basic things. I mean, a lot of what you said is it's just very simple. It's like math, right? You know, how much XP is a wave, how much XP is a wall. Are we soaking all lanes? Like, camps aren't necessarily that much XP to take, but they're not bad. Like, you just kind of, I don't even know the numbers to give it to you. I just know, like, from experience that, you know, if you give me a choice of soaking a lane or, like, I don't know, taking a wall, you obviously take the wall. Stuff like that. Just, there are answers. And it's very situational, too. Where, like, well, if you take the wall, can they kill you and stuff like that. I guess the only big thing I would suggest is early on in Cursed Hollow, once you get the curse, you always want to push a lane together as 5. Because even if they're defending you, then the other 2 lanes push and you get 2 keeps. Like, even if you never fight them, you just posture near a lane and make sure they're all 5 there to stop you. And if not, then if there are only 4 of them, then you fight them, right? You don't just take a boss right away. You really need, you really want to push a lane. It's just the smarter way to do it early on in Cursed. And then much later on, it switches around, where once you've gotten kind of the upfront keeps, it's probably better for you to take the boss than to take a wall. So like late game bosses become the most important thing in the game, and very early on objectives and walls are the most important.
Cool. So, and I guess this is another thing that it could just be, a lot of times I think with Heroes the answer is like, nobody really knows the best way to do it. You've got to figure it out for yourself, you know? So sorry if that's repetitive, but I've heard some people say, you know, the way that I become a really good shot caller is I go into practice mode and I poke at things until I can figure out how much HP they have, or I, you know, really study and I write things down, or I look on stat sites and things like that. Or there are some people that are like, you just have to play all the time and eventually you'll understand it and you'll get the feel for it. In your personal experience, do you have a preference either way, or do you think that you would recommend a certain type of study to somebody?
I mean, definitely playing is the best way. Like if you just if you can play a lot of games, and you can try both options, right? And then you can look back and say, all right, this option was way better. Like I should do this every time. Just figuring out why that option is better. You know, just trying to use your brain and think through the reasons of why it turned out better. I mean, you can watch a replay of it after and stuff if you want. Practice is pretty much, to me at least, the best option for learning how to like figure out the correct answer to these calls.
Using my brain is important. I'll remember that.
I don't know.
No,
I didn't mean it to come off like that.
No. I didn't mean it either. I just, it's true though, because that's the thing is like, I play this game for fun, so I go in, I'm playing a game, but it's important to remember that I need to be strategically thinking like, okay, I made this choice this time, and this is what happened, and this other time I made this choice, and this is what happened, so I need to be cataloging that and studying that at the same time as having fun. So use your brain is actually a really good, like, I could write that down and put it on a post-it note on my monitor, you know?
That's a good idea. Writing down things is great.
Yeah, I don't do that nearly enough either. I think I should be writing things down on a tablet.
Cover the desk and post-its.
Yes.
That's what you do all the time with StarCraft, you know? They all have these like timings and stuff. Like, don't forget this, don't forget that.
Yeah, really?
Oh, yeah.
Not too many people, but a lot of people would, yeah.
Well, like writing down build orders, I did that, like with timings and everything like that. So, I should do that with Heroes, is write down, at this point in the game you did this and it was a big fail, don't do it again.
Don't take the boss unless you know that you can take it.
Mostly mine would just say, don't dive, don't dive, don't dive.
Play defensively, defensively.
You know who you need to start liking is ETC. He literally has stage dive.
Yeah.
You're supposed to dive.
I should not be encouraged for that behavior. Oh my goodness. Alright, sorry, I kind of derailed us from talking more specifically, Gilly. Did you have more specific questions about like, kind of those lull points or anything?
No, I think all of my questions were answered. What about you?
Yeah, I'm good. And thanks, Sheth. I know this is kind of a difficult topic because, like I said, again, a lot of it comes down to like just try and study and find out what works for you. So I appreciate you giving us those insights and some of the specifics as well. I think that's really going to help our friends here. But guys, if you're watching and you have other questions for Sheth, then please do send them to us. Use the hashtag Storm Show. It's right here on the overlay. Send that to us on Twitter. You can mention either Gilly or me as well, and we will try to get those questions answered. We're gonna answer them now, or are we gonna do it during the play session, Gilly? What do you think?
We can do it during the play session. We don't have any just yet.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, we do have an observation that MMR is more appealing, a more appealing ranked system by Topher et al.
An observation. Those are always welcome as well.
Yes, yes. I did. Well, I did say if you want to let us know what you think of the ranked play. So you know, helping out.
Good. All right, guys. Well, as usual, we're going to go into a play session next. Sheth is going to teach us a little bit about Malfurion. He's got a build to share with us. He's going to play Malfurion. I'm going to observe, as usual, so I'm going to follow him around on the map. And take your questions, talk about Malfurion, do all of that while we play a custom game with some other awesome community members. In order to get the overlays right, I'm going to have to take the stream down really briefly, so don't leave, don't worry, we'll be right back, there's no problem. But we'll see you in just a few minutes when we're back for our play session.